ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Chapter 15, Teachings of Queen Kunti, Beyond Birth and Death. केचिद् आहुर् अजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यदो प्रियस्यान्ववाये मलयस्येव चन्दनम्. Some say that the unborn is born for the glorification of pious kings, and others say that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotees. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in the Malaya hills. Because the Lord's appearance in this material world is bewildering, there are different opinions about the birth of the unborn. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he takes his birth in the material world, although he is the Lord of all creations and he is unborn. So there cannot be any denial of the birth of the unborn because he himself establishes the truth. But still there are different opinions as to why he takes his birth. Of course, the first thing is he takes his birth, but birth as in it's more of appearance, so we call it birth. So he doesn't take birth as a ordinary human being. He takes birth at his own will in a transcendental manner. So why does he take birth? That is also declared in the Bhagavad Gita. He appears by his own internal potency to re-establish the principles of religion and to protect the pious and annihilate the impious. That is the mission of the appearance of the unborn. Still, it is said that the Lord is there to glorify the pious king Yudhishthira. Glorification of pious king. So Prabhupada is saying this glorification is of Yudhishthira. Lord Sri Krishna certainly wanted to establish the kingdom of the Pandavas for the good of all in the world. When there is a pious king ruling over the world, the people are happy. When the ruler is impious, the people are unhappy. In the age of Kali, in most cases, the rulers are impious and therefore the citizens are also continuously unhappy. No, yeah, maybe the rulers are somewhat pious, but the system of administration, this democracy, etc., like monarchy is the only thing that will work when the king is pious, is pious or is Vaishnava and he takes guidance. If he's a Vaishnava, then he will know what is right wrong. If he is not, at least if he's a pious king and he's taking advice from a qualified Brahmana Vaishnava, then even that kingdom will be prosperous. Right? But in today's world, the ruler might be pious, but everybody around him are impious. So it will be very difficult for such a person also to um, bring about wide scale changes, right? And it might take a long time also. So in general, citizens are always unhappy because ruler is not pious. The whole intent of or what is the responsibility for Kshatriya is to create a God conscious atmosphere in the kingdom. If there's no God consciousness, then it results in impious life. Citizens end up doing impious things, and so they're going to be unhappy. But in the case of democracy, the impious citizens themselves elect their representatives to rule over them, and therefore they cannot blame anyone for their unhappiness. They elect their representatives from among them only, right? So they won't be qualified, so they can't blame anybody for their unhappiness. They have to blame themselves. So which is why, this whole democracy and this voting process and all that is just useless. right? Maharaja Nala was also celebrated as a great pious king, but he had no connection with Lord Krishna. Therefore, Maharaja Yudhishthira is meant here to be glorified by Lord Krishna, who had also glorified King Yadu by taking birth in his family. And so Prabhupada is saying, there might be other kings who are celebrated as great pious kings, but if in this connection they had no connection with Krishna. So in this verse, the glorious kings, pious kings, are actually this to Maharaj Yudhishthir. And also he glorified King Yadu by taking birth in his family. So he's known as Yadava, Yaduvira, Yadunandana, etc. Although the Lord is always independent of such obligations, he is not forced. He cannot be forced to appear in the family of Yadu. It's his independent will. He will decide. He's just like sandalwood that grows in the Malaya hills. Trees can grow anywhere and everywhere. Yet because the sandalwood trees grow mostly in the area of the Malaya hills, the name sandalwood and Malaya hills are interrelated. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Lord is ever unborn like the sun, and yet he appears as the sun rises on the eastern horizon. As the sun is never the sun of the eastern horizon, so the Lord is no one's son. Prabhupada is saying S-U-N, S-O-N. As the S-U-N sun is never the S-U-N of the eastern horizon, so the Lord is no one's S-O-N, but is the father of everything that be. And in Malaya Hills, somewhere Prabhupada has commented that this is Nilgiri Hills. Yeah, so he's not, we cannot associate one family, one region, or anything to the Lord. But because he appears there, that family becomes famous, or family becomes associated with the Lord, like that. Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Lord says, Ajopi sannavayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhisthaya sambhavami atma maya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, Bhutanam Ishvaro, I still appear in every millennium in my own original transcendental form. Sambhavami appear Atma Maya by my internal potency, which means in my own transcendental form. Krishna is unborn and we are also unborn, but the difference is that unlike the Lord, we have been entangled in a material body. Therefore, we cannot keep our position as unborn, but have to take birth and transmigrate from one body to another with no guarantee of what kind of body we shall receive next. Even in this life, we are obliged to accept one body after another. A child gives up his childhood body and accepts the body of a boy. The boy gives up his boyhood body to accept a youthful body, which he then gives up for an old body. Therefore, it is natural to conclude that when one gives up one's old body, one will have to accept another body. Again, one will accept the body of a child. So this is going on. This is a natural cycle of this material world. It is similar to changes of season. After spring comes summer, after summer comes fall, and then winter, and then spring again. Similarly, after day comes night, and after night comes day. Just as these cyclic changes take place one after another, we change from one body to another, and it is natural to conclude that after leaving the present body, we shall receive another body. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. This conclusion is very logical. It is supported by the Shastra, the Vedic literature, and is also affirmed by the greatest authority, Krishna himself. Therefore, why should we not accept it? If one does not accept this, if one thinks that there is no life after death, one is foolish. Of course, Prabhupada elsewhere also proves that there is life after death, that there is reincarnation. Through logic also he proves. There is life after death, and there is also the chance to free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death and attain a life of immortality. But because we've been accustomed to accepting one body after another since time immemorial, it is difficult for us to think of a life that is eternal. And the life of material existence is so troublesome that one may think that if there is an eternal life, that life must be troublesome also. This we have experienced. Life is so troublesome. But foolish people think even eternal life is also troublesome. For example, a deceased man who is taking very bitter medicine and who is lying down in bed, eating there and passing stool and urine there, unable to move, may find his life so intolerable that he thinks, let me commit suicide. Similarly, materialistic life is so miserable that in desperation one sometimes takes to a philosophy of voidism or impersonalism to try to negate his very existence and make everything zero. So this is very grossly materialistic people think about this. Let me commit suicide. A little bit more, uh, inquisitive or people inclined towards some kind of philosophy, some thinkers, they will think, no, 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 material life is miserable. So I don't want another life at all. So what is best is to not have life. So voidism, zero, nirakar. So no form, only energy. Just there's no another, nothing like life, nothing like body to make everything zero. Actually, however, becoming zero is not possible, nor is it necessary. We are in trouble in our material condition. But when we get out of our material condition, we can find real life, eternal life. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna, who is Aja. Aja means beyond birth and death. We are also Aja. How could we be otherwise? If my father is happy and I'm the son of my father, why should I be unhappy? I can naturally conclude that I shall enjoy my father's property just as my father is enjoying it. Similarly, God, Krishna is all powerful, all beautiful, all knowledgeable, and complete in everything. And although I may not be complete, I am part and parcel of God. Therefore, I have all qualities of God to a partial extent. This we all know. God does not die, so I also shall not die. That is my position. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Describing the soul, Krishna says that the soul is never born, na jayate. And if one is not born, how can he die? Therefore, there is no question of death. Mriyate va. Death is for one who has taken birth, and if one has no birth, he can also have no death. Unfortunately, however, we do not know this. We are conducting scientific research, but we do not know that every living entity is a spiritual soul with no birth and no death. This is our ignorance. And the whole world, big universities, big professors, big gyanis, they don't understand this, such a simple truth. The soul is eternal, everlasting, and primeval. Nitya Shashvato Yam Purana. Nitya is eternal, Shashvata, everlasting. Purana, very old, primeval. The soul does not die with the annihilation of the body. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. But although the soul does not die, it accepts another body, and this is called bhava roga, the material disease. Since Krishna is the supreme living being, nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam, we are exactly like Krishna. The difference being that Krishna is vibhu, unlimited, whereas we are anu, limited. Qualitatively, we are as good as Krishna. Therefore, whatever propensities Krishna has, we have also. For example, Krishna has the propensity to love someone of the opposite sex, and therefore we have the same propensity. The beginning of love is present in the eternal love between Radha and Krishna. We are also seeking eternal love, but because we are conditioned by the material laws, our love is interrupted. Our love, first of all, our love in this material world is normally not love, it's lust, and it is anyway interrupted. But if we can transcend this interruption, we can take part in loving affairs similar to those of Krishna and Radharani. Our aim should therefore be to go back home, back to Krishna, because since Krishna is eternal, we shall receive an eternal body. Kunti says, Kechidahu Rajam Jatam, the supreme eternal, the supreme unborn, has now taken his birth. But although Krishna takes birth, his birth is not like ours. That we should know. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha Tyaktva Deyam Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. It's a very simple thing, actually. One who knows transcendental nature of Krishna's appearance and activities, automatically he will come to know about the jiva's nature, that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and that our eternal position is to serve Krishna. So he engages in devotional service. And even one who knows the transcendental nature without any doubt, he will also not take birth. Who can know the transcendental nature of Krishna? Only the devotees or somebody in devotion. And who is the one who is in devotion? He will do devotional service. So automatically, by that process of devotional service, he will get out of this material world. And that is why Krishna says, Bhaktya mamami janati. Who can know? Only devotees can know, not some scholar. It is described in Srimad Bhagavatam that when Krishna first appeared, he did not take birth from the womb of Devaki. Rather, he first appeared in the majestic four-armed form of Vishnu, and then he became a small child on Devaki's lap. Therefore, Krishna's birth is transcendental, because he appeared in four-armed form of Vishnu. Whereas our birth takes place by force, by laws of nature. Krishna is not under the laws of nature. The laws of nature work under him. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Prakriti, nature, works under the order of Krishna. And we work under the order of nature. Krishna is the master of nature, and we are servants of nature. Therefore, Kunti Devi says, Kechid ahuhu. Someone may say that the unborn has taken birth. It may appear that he has taken birth just like us, but in fact he has not. Kunti Devi distinctly says, Kechid ahuhu. Some foolish persons may say that he has taken birth. Krishna himself also says in Bhagavad Gita, Vidananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam. Because I've appeared just like a human being. Those who are rascals, mudha, think that I'm also just like an ordinary human. Param bhavam ajanantaha. They do not know the mystery behind God's taking birth like a human being. Or, in other words, param bhavam, that is a param bhava, is a transcendental nature, is not known to them. Krishna is everywhere. Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam viddesha arjuna tishtati. And since he is within us and is all powerful, why should it be difficult for him to appear before us? So Prabhupada is saying he's already within us in the heart. Why can't he appear in front of us? And the great devotee Dhruva Maharaj was engaged in meditation on the four-armed form of Vishnu. All of a sudden his meditation broke, and he immediately saw before him the same form upon which he had been meditating. Was it very difficult for Krishna to appear in this way? Of course not. Similarly, it was not difficult for him to appear before Devaki in the same four-armed form. Therefore, Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam. One must understand my transcendental birth and activities. Kunti Devi has this understanding. She knows that although to some fools Krishna appears to take birth, in fact he is unborn. But why should Krishna perform the pastime of taking birth? Kunti Devi replies, Punya shlokasya kirtaye. See, Prabhupada, the way he is writing his purports, every part of the verse he is splitting and is like giving relation to why somebody spoke something. It's like Kunti Devi is saying, of course, when they speak in Sanskrit, we think that, oh, they're not speaking. It's somebody has written the verse. No. In Kunti Devi, because previously people used to be normally conversing in Sanskrit. So it's like we making a statement and we are saying something, then there is a reason why every part of the sentence, why we have told whatever we have told. So like that, in our acharyas also explained why great devotees are saying whatever they are saying. So Prabhupada is saying, why did she say Punya Shlokasya Kirtaye? To glorify those who are very pious and very much advanced in spiritual understanding. So that is the reason he takes birth. Krishna comes as the son of Devaki to glorify his devotee Devaki. Krishna becomes the son of Yashoda to glorify Yashoda. Similarly, Krishna appears in the dynasty of Maharaj Yadu, his great devotee, just to glorify Maharaj Yadu. Thus, Krishna is still known as Yadava, descendant of Maharaj Yadu. Krishna has no obligation to take his birth in a particular family or country, but he takes birth to glorify a certain person or a certain family because of their devotion. Therefore, his birth is called Divyam, transcendental. Therefore, he is Bhakta Vatsala. He appears just to please his devotees and also to glorify them. The Lord is not obliged to take birth, but we are obliged to do so. This is the distinction between our birth and the birth of Krishna. If by our karma or activities we are fit to take birth in a good family in human society or demigod society, we shall do so. But if our activities are low like those of animals, we shall have to take birth in a family of animals. And this also, people don't know what type of karma they are doing today, what will be their next birth, such a risky situation. That is the force of karma. Karmana daiva netrena jantur deho papatte. We develop a certain type of body according to our karma. We achieve a certain type of body according to our karma, and now we want to achieve another type of body because we're not happy with the body which we received. But previously we wanted this kind of body, so Bhakti gave us this type of body. Now we don't want this type of body. We want some other type of body. So our mind is so fickle, it keeps changing positions. The human form of life is meant for understanding the supreme, the absolute truth. Actually, one more thing comes to my mind in this. Rupa Goswami says that who will get devotion is one who is not too attached or too detached. Meaning, we should, if we are so frustrated that we want to get out of this material world, then we can't do bhakti properly. Meaning, it's just frustration, that's all. Right? That is just negative. But the positive has to be is important. Positive is desire to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. That positivity has to be there. Then automatically, anyway, the negativity will be removed. Meaning, you won't have to take birth again. But those who simply want to get rid of this material suffering, they are behind liberation. They're really not behind serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna. So, in spite of all our suffering, etc., we should not hope that I get out of my miserable situation. If Krishna wills, he'll take me out. But whatever it is, we should engage in bhakti. That is very important. The human form of life is meant for understanding the supreme absolute truth. Adhato Brahma Jignasa. But if we do not endeavor for this, if we misuse this opportunity, simply remain like animals, we shall return to an animal form of life. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is trying to save people from going down to animal life. The appearance of Lord Krishna is compared to the growth of sandalwood trees in the Malaya hills. Malayasyeva Chandanam. There are two Malayas, the Malaya hills and the part of the world now known as Malaysia. The Chandana tree or sandalwood tree can grow anywhere. There is no rule that it has to grow in Malaysia or the Malaya hills. But because the sandalwood grows in large quantities in those parts of the world, it is known as Malaya Chandana. In the Western countries, there is scented water known as eau de Cologne. It can be manufactured anywhere, but because it was originally manufactured in the city of Cologne, it is known as eau de Cologne. Similarly, sandalwood can grow anywhere, but because it was originally very prominent in Malaysia and the Malaya hills, it is known as Malayan sandalwood. Kunti offered this prayer for 5,000 years ago, and this indicates that sandalwood was growing 5,000 years ago in Malaysia. Malaysia is not a new name. It was known thousands and thousands of years ago to the followers of Vedic culture. Nowadays, of course, Malaysia is growing rubber trees because there's a good demand for rubber. But formerly, Malaysia grew sandalwood on a large scale because there's a great demand for sandalwood, especially in India. Because India is a tropical country and sandalwood is very cooling, people in India use sandalwood pulp as a cosmetic. Even now, during the very warm days of the summer season, those who can afford to do so apply sandalwood pulp to their bodies and feel cool all day. In India, it was a system that after bathing and sanctifying the body by applying marks of tilaka, one would offer obeisances to the deity, take some chandan prasad from the room of the deity and apply it as a cosmetic to the body, which we also do in ISKCON. This was called prasadana. But it is said that in Kali Yuga, the present day, it's snanam eva prasadanam. If one can even bathe nicely, that is prasadanam. In India, even the poorest man will take an early morning bath every day. But when I came to America, I saw that even taking one's daily bath may be a difficult thing and is often not the practice. In India, we are accustomed to see people bathe thrice in a day. But in New York, I've seen that one may have to go to a friend's house to bathe because one may not have facility to do so at home. And of course, people are so unclean that they don't want to take bath. These are symptoms of Kali Yuga, snanam eva prasadanam. In Kali Yuga, it will be very difficult even to take bath. And so just imagine, if we are around when this happens. Another symptom of Kali Yuga is Daksham Kutumba Bharanam. One will be famous for his pious activities simply if he can maintain his family. The word Daksham, meaning famous for pious activities, come from Daksha, which means expert. In Kali Yuga, one will be considered expert if he can maintain a family consisting of himself, his wife, and one or two children. This will be the state going forward, that if one is able to just maintain their family is considered pious. In India, of course, the traditional family is a joint family consisting of a man and his wife, their parents and children, their in-laws, and so on. But in Kali Yuga, it will be difficult to maintain a simple family of oneself, one's wife, and a few children. When I was living in New York, among the people coming to our classes was an old lady who had a grown son. I asked her, "Why doesn't your son get married?" She replied, "Yes, he can marry when he can maintain a family." I did not know that maintaining a family was such a difficult job here. But this is described in the Bhagavatam. If one can maintain a family, he will be considered a very glorious man. And if a girl has a husband, she'll be considered very fortunate. See, this situation will also come. Also there already, but it's going to become common. It is not our business to criticize, but the symptoms of Kali Yuga are very severe. They will grow more severe. The duration of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Although 5,000 years of it have passed, already we find so many difficulties. And the more we grow into this Kali Yuga, the more the times will be difficult. The best course, therefore, is to complete our Krishna consciousness and return home back to Godhead. What is the important part here? Is to complete our Krishna consciousness. We are engaged in Krishna consciousness now, but we should also make our mind to complete our Krishna consciousness, meaning to become perfect and return home back to Godhead. That will save us. Otherwise, if we come back again for another life in Kali Yuga, we shall find difficult days ahead and we shall have to suffer more and more. So this will be true of anybody who will going to take birth in the future, because who are going to take birth in the future in Kali Yuga are really sinful people who will take birth, and because they have been sinful, they're going to suffer more and more. So intelligence is to just decide saying that enough is enough. I had enough of this material miserable world. Let me go back to Krishna and serve him eternally. And for that, of course, like we've been discussing again and again, we have to seriously engage in Krishna consciousness. If you're somewhat even remotely attracted to anything of this material world, we should just remember this sentence, that if you're going to come back again, we are going to find only more difficult days ahead. So intelligence is to just make sure that we don't come back again. By mercy of Prabhupada, it's absolutely possible. By simply offenselessly chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and following 4 regulative principles. But the trick here is, or the secret here is offenseless chanting. And offenseless chanting requires one to live a pious life, associate with devotees, hear Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and so on and so forth, honor prasadam. So without that, it is not possible to chant offenselessly. So while that statement, people forget about that offenseless word. And they say, oh, Prabhupada said just chanting 16 rounds is enough. No, chanting offenseless 16 rounds. Now we are in Namaprada. Major Namaprada is Aham and Mama. Right? So we have to get out of this Aham and Mama, these material attachments. Otherwise, we are in the Namaprada stage. And if you're in the Namaprada stage, there's no question of getting out. Even in Namabhasa, meaning when we cross the offensive stage of chanting, we can get liberated. Easily we can get liberated. So we should understand that process has been given, but how seriously we are trying. Actually, yesterday I got one very deep realization, which I wanted to share yesterday, but somehow it didn't happen. So I was thinking, if in case, please hear this carefully. I mean, these kind of random things keep coming in my mind. If suppose Radha and Krishna are in front of us, however, somehow it happened. Don't ask me how it can happen, but just for argument's sake, just assume that Radha and Krishna are actually appeared in front of us. What will be our mood? Can devotees just and just tell what will be our mood? How will our mood be? Just imagine like Radha and Krishna are in front of us. Quickly,
It will be unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Okay. More tangible emotions.
So we will be surprised, happy.
Okay. Surprise, happy.
We will look for paraphernalia.
We look for paraphernalia. Okay. Okay. Quickly, others.
Dumbfolded, flabbergasted.
Dumbfounded. Okay. What is the second one?
Flabbergasted, maybe just
Flabbergasted.
faint.
Okay. Faint.
Mad with
Stunned.
faint.
Okay. Stunned, faint. Okay. Quickly.
The
Other
beauty
devotees.
itself,
Huh?
the beauty itself is I mean, like we just look at
No.
them and just keep on looking
Okay.
at them.
Just keep looking at them. Okay. Don't do anything. Just dumbfounded. Yeah. Then other devotees, quickly. Another 30 seconds. What is this? I mean, you don't want to express yourself when you're going to see Radha and Krishna, what you will feel. Huh? Not so enthusiastic. Okay. Anyway, so see the one thing we have to understand what we have been taught. Of course, yeah, what all of you have said is absolutely correct, right? But one thing that I was thinking is we would be so enthusiastic, we'll be like enthusiastic. We are looking for service, we'll see what can we do, we'll see if we can offer a, nice asan or some, prayers or, we'll be looking at some senior devotees saying that, okay, what are they doing? Can we help them? But we'll be in full happiness and full enthusiasm, right? And we are just like no way our material thought or some stupid material thing will come into our mind at that time, right? And I mean our shastra is saying that Radha and Krishna's name is literally non-different from them. So we are not in the stage of realization where we can actually realize this. We cannot realize that Radha and Krishna's names are non-different from them at this point of time. But just for feeding our mind, just feed this in your mind, saying that when I chant the name of Radha and Krishna, when I say Hare Krishna, actually Radha and Krishna are there. No, I can't really understand, appreciate how they are there, right? But they are there. Now, when Radha and Krishna are there, shouldn't I feel the same enthusiasm, same dumbfoundedness, same flabbergasted, same stunning, same admiring the beauty, whatever things that you all said? Shouldn't we be feeling the same thing when we are chanting Hare Krishna? Because it is not different. Because it is not different. So then I thought, like, oh my God, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, why can't I just, when I'm chanting now Hare Krishna, why can't I be so enthusiastic? Why can't I call their name with love? Like I would want to serve them when if they happen to appear in front of me. So please remember, this kind of chanting will get us out of offenses. This kind of chanting, not this mechanical, drowsing, sitting in one place, like wow, something is coming out in the mouth, body is tired, we are like, or something, we are looking at something, we are thinking of something else, we are talking, and we are doing this, we are doing that, and we said we finished 16 rounds. Not this kind of chanting. The chanting, the kind of chanting where we know that, yes, I am with Radha and Krishna, I am with Radha and Krishna now, 2 hours. Stop all nonsense, right? Some mundane thought comes, like knock it off, saying that not now, this is not the time for this. I'll come back to you later, 2 hours later. Right? But just imagine Radha and Krishna, I am with them. I am with them. How much enthusiasm I must have to call out their names, because that is a service. If Radha and Krishna actually appear in form, then we might have many other services. We might decorate them. We might offer, some flower garlands. We might do chamara. We might, whatever. But the service that is given for the nama, which is not different, the associated service for nama rupa, nama is hearing and chanting. So that I should be extremely happy saying that, oh, I am actually doing service to nama by hearing and chanting. This is the service. So I have to be so enthusiastic. It was amazing. I mean, just for me, myself, my own sadhana, I was very much affected by this. Right. So I'm thinking now. I mean, when before I start chanting, I'm thinking, can I just retain this mood that yes, I'm doing service to Radha and Krishna are actually present. And we should not assume any form. People are doing all these kind of, this is not right. Don't assume any form. We are not thinking of any form. We are not doing dhyana. We are doing kirtana and shravana. Kirtana just means taking the names of Radha and Krishna, but with love, with affection. There should be some feeling in that name, not like mechanical. Then we can as well put a machine, right? You record, like today technology is there. Just record your Mahamantra once, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, and keep playing it. Why you have to repeat? I mean, we are not getting benefit by simply, of course, we are getting some benefit, but not all the benefit, because we are not going to get out of Nama Parada if we simply play like a tape recorder. So offenseless chanting is key. So kindly think about this, just this fact, I'm just picturizing the same thought process, saying that Nama is non-different, but I'm just going into one more level detail and saying, how would I be when actually Radha and Krishna's form appear in front of me versus now their form, or they are present in the form of their name, but I'm not getting so excited about it. I don't want to do service nicely to them, but I want to do service nicely to the form. So it just means that philosophically I'm not there, right? So just meditate on this and, see if it helps your chanting. Okay, anyway, so the whole point is that offenseless chanting. We have to do offenseless chanting. That's the key. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, so you said that we should not try to think about any form, but that naturally comes if I am trying to think.
No problem. Naturally, if it comes, then it's very good.
Okay.
We should not try to think of the form.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody?
One
Okay.
more thing,
Yeah.
Prabhuji. Yesterday also you said, and today also, that thinking about liberation is bad. So, so that also comes naturally, right? Means whenever we are suffering, then we think about, means both things are there, as you say about Mishra Bhakti also. So that want to reach to Goloka, but want to get out of this suffering also.
No problem. No problem. That will, what we should understand is when we reach the stage of bhava, then anyway that all klesha is destroyed. Right. So at that point of time, anyway, all the suffering is destroyed. So we don't have to separately endeavor for it. We see, as long as we are just thinking, I want to serve Radha and Krishna with love, then we just do bhakti. And when we make progress, when we come to the stage of bhava, then all these difficulties, sufferings are all anyway destroyed. So it's an automatic part of the process. Don't have to separately think about it. The only thing we have to think about right now is, can I just endure my suffering, tolerate? That's why Krishna says you are not the body, you're Atma, but you are not in that stage of realization. So till you reach that stage, you have this body and it's going to give you a lot of trouble. So simply try to tolerate. And when we come to the stage of realizing that I'm not the body, then anyway, even if there's suffering, there's literally we don't get too affected by that. And of course, then when we reach the stage of bhava, all suffering is anyway destroyed. Klesha Agni it is called. Klesha Agni, right? All the klesha is destroyed, burnt. Klesha means suffering. That's a later stage. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I ask?
Yes, Mantri. Yeah.
Prabhuji, like, okay, we understand we are not the body, but everything relative, like even your pains, your aches, like your body's tired, it's body.
Yeah.
How do you even we cross that small, you're hungry, your body is hungry. We don't say the soul is hungry.
Yeah.
Even any small this thing, whether it's a dry skin, it's a boil, it's pain, it's happiness. Even the initial stage of crossing over, the body, this thing is so difficult. Like, how do you come to an understanding of?
So which is why actually Krishna is saying that, see, philosophically, it might be difficult for many people to come to an understanding and then say, okay, I am not this body, right? Which is also possible. But for most of us, the process is very simple. Suppose say there's a boil, right? Now
Yes,
let
very-
that boil, let there be this little pain. It's okay. It's okay. We should just tolerate. See, all of us have some level of tolerance. But what has happened is this material way of life, the way we've lived life in Kali Yuga, has made us very intolerant because we want instant solutions for every problem, right? And instant solution is just popping some pill into our mouth, right? So one thing which I sincerely try, I mean, I'm not saying any of this just out of fancy, right? I try this, right? When I'm suffering with something, I will give it 1 or 2 days with just going through the suffering, right? Like, I mean, and just wait, okay, and just see, okay, if it's going to go, it's not going to go, 1 or 2 days, you will know. Now, 1 or 2 days suffering you took. At least, it's better than instantly popping a pill. Now I gave it 1 day, for example, right? And I said, okay, ek din ke liye I will suffer. Let me suffer, whatever it is there. And see, when we go through the suffering now, for somebody who was just instantly just popping a pill, now even if we can tolerate 2 hours, it's a great progress, isn't it? I just now realized saying that for 2 hours I can tolerate the pain. Now then I realize that for 1 day I can tolerate the pain. Then I'll realize that for 2 days I can tolerate the pain. When I can continuously tolerate and maybe I'm taking medicine but still it's not helping and I'm tolerating, then I realize, oh, anyway, now my activities are going on. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm going to the temple, I'm doing my services. So I'm not the body. Right? So, but this realization will not come if we don't try. It's not going to come from, it's not going to fall on us, right? It's not just like one day I'm going to wake up, open my eyes, and then suddenly I realize that I'm not this body. No, that's not going to happen, right? So this is practice. That is why Krishna is saying Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. This is one side of it, right? And which has to be done because without this practical realization will not come. Now, the other part of it, which is very, very interesting, is to actually we should make this vow saying that irrespective whatever is my health condition, it doesn't matter. But I will not skip my daily sadhana, right? I will try as sincerely as possible through my chanting offenseless. Even if you can do just this, even let it be 1 round, even let it be 2 rounds, 4 rounds, right? If we can just make up our mind, we all have determination. It's not that we don't have. We have determination for all the unnecessary things, right? We don't have determination for this. If we just divert the determination here and say, okay, now fine, 1 round. Now I'm not going to think about this pain. 1 round, I'm going to just remember saying that Radha and Krishna are not different from their name. So they're here. I'm going to enthusiastically chant. Right? Because see, this is what is going to happen at the time of death, right? There's going to be pain, and we have to remember Krishna and Radha, right? So we are just practicing. So we'll say, okay, 1 round. Can I just try for 1 round? Beg for mercy of Guru, beg for mercy of Prabhupada, Acharyas, Krishna, Radha, and say 1 round I want to chant without thinking about my pain. Then we will be able to do because Krishna, see, for anybody who's sincerely endeavoring, Krishna will give mercy. Once we get over that 1 round, then we'll say, "Arey wah, ye to ho gaya. Fine, now push myself a little bit more, right? Because I achieved 1 round. Now, can I, beg for more mercy, saying that can I now sustain this for 2 rounds? Right? And this is how we will make progress. This is how we will understand that I'm not the body. See, the point that I'm not the body is basically in the fact that I am the soul. And as the soul, I can drive the body to do certain actions, even if it is suffering. This is the understanding, right? The point that I'm not the body, I'm spirit soul, just means that spirit soul is not actually affected by it. I have an affected body, that's fine. But even with the affected body, I can use it to do my activities of the soul. This is the understanding, right? Like if there are 4 tires in a car, one is punctured, it's still okay. I can drive the car to the nearest, puncture station. It's as simple as that. But for which we have to be little willing to push ourselves. Little push ourselves. And one more thing, mostly people have this, 1 day. If I leave this boil for 1 day, maybe it's going to become something else. And then in 1 day, my whole life will change and nothing is going to happen. If that life has to change, if something major anyway has to happen, it's anyway going to happen. Right? So we should not be in this undue anxiety of something radical is going to happen if I just, of course, prolonged if we do something like this, yeah, maybe it might result in complication. Again, please remember that complication just didn't happen because you left it, you ignored it for a week. It just means that it had to happen. And there are people previously when they used to get fever and they used to simply no medicine, nothing, just take rest, water, drink more water, some, simple food, sleep, 3 days, done. Get up, do your stuff, right? So we've seen all this in the past. But this stupid medical advancement has spoiled all of us. Right? So little bit we have to push ourselves, little bit, not too much, right? If I can push myself for only 1 hour or 2 hours, let me try that. Because once I'm able to get past the 2 hours, now next I'll try for 4 hours. Next I'll try for 8 hours. Next I'll try for 24 hours and so on and so forth. So both have to be done. Little bit of tolerance has to be done, and absolutely pulling together all of our energies while chanting. And maybe give that one good round without getting distracted, and that's great progress for us. And slowly it'll improve. Okay, that's my understanding, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, there's one more question
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, if we are surrounded by non-devotees, atmosphere is not helping, and no atmosphere will help us. Please understand, we are always looking for some favorable situation for doing bhakti. It's never going to happen. We have to make up our mind saying that, boss, this is my life. This is how it is. I'm just going to keep endeavoring. Sincerely, I'm going to keep trying. Tattenu kampasu samikshamana. When Krishna wants to get me out of all this suffering, he will get me out of all this, unfavorable atmosphere. But let me try. What is there? What is the harm in trying? But we don't want to try. We are so weak-minded. We want to just give up. That giving up business has to be stopped. A little bit push, like same answer, right? Push. Little bit push yourself. And I'm just trying to share whatever I'm doing. There might be much better answers than this from more realized souls, devotees. But yeah, whatever little I know I've experienced, I'm trying to share. Okay, will we close?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just want to say that this was really good. The last questions answer, the last second, Mataji,
Okay.
which asked.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll close here. It's already time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to everybody.
Hare Krishna.